Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video we're going through the Brisbane versus Sydney game in which Brisbane just pipped us just at the end of the game, which kind of sucks. Another couple seconds and Sydney probably have a set shot for holding the ball call, but anyway, it is what it is. I'm not too fussed at the moment. There are so many different things that probably a 50-50, a lot of 50-50 decisions that I felt could have maybe gone our way, etc. We had 3 guys ruled out just before in the week leading up to it that will be there come finals. We also had 2 guys injured in the actual game. That meant we were down a rotation and a guy hobbling around as well. All of them should be fit when finals starts. And also the fact that we played it at the Gabba, where Brisbane have won, something like 26 out of their last 30 there, or something like that. And if you take out that run where they lost 3 there on the bounce to start the year, there's something like 1 loss in their last 30. They won, 13 or 14 straight there last year. It might have even been, I think it was, 11-0 in the regular season and 2-0 in finals there. So they were 13-0 there, I believe. And I think they lost 1 or 2 the season before that as well. So, they're so good at the Gabba. So I'm not even that surprised, to be honest with you. And the Swans even had chances as well to seal it, which they could have done. And I think at any other location, it's probably a different result. Injuries probably play a different result as well. So I'm not going to say, season over this, that. We have built up a lead at the top that is still there. Still effective 3-game lead at the top. And with 5 to play, so the Swans can just sort of get these guys rested up, etc. As there's still 44 days until the Thursday final series start, and the Swans probably won't be playing the Thursday night. I don't remember who plays first, but we'll see who does. And by then, I believe all of the guys should be back fit anyway at the moment. So not looking too bad anyway. But before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into this recap. So, Zorko just took us to the cleaners. Because Rowbottom was out, I don't think we really had a way in which we could necessarily tag him too well, because basically James Jordan had to do a job on, even though people were saying that Adams did run a tagging role, I thought that James Jordan would have run a tagging role as well. Adams did run a little bit of a tag on Neil, but Neil got away late. I'm surprised we didn't put anyone on Zorko, but I was never going to go Zorko route just because there was the potential to be tagged by James Jordan. So I guess that does suck that the Swans didn't do anything there, which probably is a weakness, but I mean, they probably will apply a tag now in finals if we do see each other again. Zorko just got off the leash, and that's what it is. If people did VC him or captain him, then fair play for captaining him through a potential tag or a touted tag. I'd just never do that just because it feels like you're almost setting yourself up for failure. The failure is staring you in the face. If the tag does eventuate. McCluggage just got off the leash in the second half as well. 80-point second half for him. 26 touches, 8 marks, and 3 goals. A couple of his goals got really lucky bounces. Like one was heading through for a behind, bounced and did a right angle. One of them skidded on and then went through as well. So he got a little bit lucky, but sometimes you have to make your own luck in the end. And so 26 touches and 3 goals for him was a really good performance. And he's one of the more underrated players, I think, in the comp. So he did show out. McInerney 105, he seemed to get on top of the likes of Grundy in the second half with the 69-point second half, and I don't think Grundy got going in the second half. So, just a tough ruckman for Grundy to handle this week. Rayno 103, he did pretty well in the end. Kicked 2 goals. One of them probably came off a free kick, off a no-call free kick. That was the most obvious free kick of probably the weekend. The tunnelling free kick that should have gone to Nick Blakey. But anyway, that's another call that, went against the Swans, could have changed the result. But, as I say, you have to take your own luck. And that's what Brisbane did. They played to the whistle and they took it and ran with it. And now they're probably going to make finals because of it. Or at least should make finals, if not top 4 because of these calls. Because they took and they played to the whistle. So that's all that you can do, basically. Danaher, 80. You can see the stark drop off here of players that aren't really going to be fancy relevant. Berry, Ashcroft with a 77. I'm intrigued to see how Ashcroft does with a full preseason under his belt, as I think he's a guy that can push 100. But we're not going to go on guys that take natural progression. We go on guys that have injury or historical value, etc. And I don't think Ashcroft gets there. He might have a slight discount, but it's a negligible discount of like 2 and a bit points or whatever, because it'll be like 3% or whatever, because there's 5 to play and he's played 4 so far. Lester, Bailey, Wilmot, Neil really got tagged out of the game, professionally tagged out. And then he came alive in the last quarter. So yeah, it's like we did our job like 90% the way there. And then when the going got tough, he did this. In red time, he contributed, 11? He contributed 28 points in the last 13 minutes of this game. So yeah, we did our job 90% the way there, and then he got off because he's a dual Brownlow medalist, probably hunting the third one. Not going to get votes in this one. But yeah, that's just what good players do. When the going gets tough, they find a way, and that is Lachie Neale for you. One of the more, I think a lot of people don't rate him as highly as he should be, because he is an absolute gun. And yeah, you have to basically tag him, and even when you tag him, he can sometimes get away, and he got away for 10 minutes and pretty much stuffed the game for the Swans. Andrews, I thought he was pretty big when he was actually out there, but the concussion test, then got back out there, and then got concussed again, or got concussed himself. So he's out next week. That'll be a big body blow for them. Archie, Joyce, Dunkley brought him in for a 61. He looked good in the first and the third, but didn't do anything outside of that. So that's just one of those calls where the logic was behind that call for Dunkley. And I'm not too worried about that, because we've seen against like Melbourne when they had Gawn and all their decent players, he played pretty well. Adelaide, Port when they were pretty good. Melbourne back here when they were so like he's played well on these runs and stuff like that. And that was his worst game of the year by far. So I'm not really, the thing about that, people will be like, oh, you got that call wrong, etc. The logic was there, and that's all that matters about that, to be honest with you. Yes, it sucks that it didn't go my way, and I guess to a certain extent it doesn't all matter that the logic was there, because you do want the scores. But, you know, I'm not too worried about that decision not going my way, rather than going for like a 600 or 700 more risky play, and that not turning out. I thought this was a safer play, and I think he bounces back anyway. Hipwood, Lohman, Brain, Cameron, Fletcher, Smith, Starcevich, and Revel. Then we go over to the Swans. Gordon, 113. He just collects the ball at his own will. Couldn't really tag him, to be honest. 27 touches for him, 7 marks, 4 tackles, and a goal. He tried to get the Swans to kick away in the end. Kicked a goal late in the second, to get the margin out to, I think, 7 points at halftime. And that's when all the calamity started for the Swans, and you'll see what I mean when we get down to it. Fox, I thought he had a decent game. I don't know what his disposal efficiency was, but 26 touches for him is always a decent effort, especially for what would be classed as a role player. Roberts, a 102 as well. So those people that held him, even though you probably shouldn't have, he finally dined out and gave you something. But I think he's going to be one in the next year or two that really does potentially become that sort of Nick Newman style of player. He's going to probably become he's probably going to become a 25 disposal half backman, to be honest with you, just because he's so safe with the ball that his kicking is so much better or so much more efficient than the rest of the Swans. That they'll probably just get it into his hands a lot more. Yes, you'll have it in Blakey's hands to give the more dangerous kicks, but Roberts is probably that safe guy that you wanted in his hands a lot more. Florent Hayward basically commanded himself to almost winning the game for the Swans on one leg. So yeah, just one of those little things that doesn't go your way. He copped some really bad. I think Corky should be in line to play next week, but just had to play through almost a lot of pain. Basically couldn't run, and he still kicked 2 goals, 3, and after the Corky, he ended up actually kicking 2 goals, 3 after the Corky in the second half alone. So if any one of those shots that he had, set shot wise, I believe, did he also kick it? I swear he kicked it behind here, yeah. So 2 goals, 2 after the Corky. If he kicks any one of those set shots, I think he had a set shot as well. If he kicks any one of those, then he gets the winning goal and the Swans win, etc. So yeah, just one of those ones where it just sort of sucks. Adams, I thought he did really well in the second quarter. Really 51 point first half on limited time on ground, and then second half when he needed to play a little bit more because of the injuries, he did slow down a little bit, and they probably got gassed out a little bit, and that's why the likes of Neil got away. But anyway, Chad Warner 79, Isaac Keaney 78 can both be put in the same boat of just, wasn't impactful, and in the end, it is what it is. 20 touches, 6 marks for Chad Warner, and 19 touches, 6 tackles for Isaac Keaney, and 2 behind. So we almost had a 26 and a goal game for Isaac Keaney. Seems like that's his sort of low score, his floor score. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Brody Grundy, 29 hitouts in the end, only 13 touches and only the 1 tackle. Probably is where he just, in the end, couldn't get going. And I don't think he had a touch of the football. He had 1 disposal in the last quarter, and only in the end 3, 4, 5 touches in the second half out of 13. So yeah, he just didn't get his hands on the footy too much, and that's what it is. McLean as a secondary ruck, I thought he did pretty well. In the end, 16, 23, 6, 26, and 4. Last quarter just didn't get going in the end, which is what it is. 11 touches in the end, 6 marks, 3 tackles, 9 hitouts, and a goal is all right for a key forward / ruckman. Parker, 63, Blakey, James Jordan, McCartan, Lloyd, Campbell, Melican, McDonald, Corey Warner, another one that I should probably talk about a little bit. I think he's going to be an interesting one over the next year or two to see his development, as I think he can play that sort of Sammy Wick small forward role pretty well. He was also able to play on the wing. I think he played a little bit wing, as I think they pushed Campbell more forward once the injury for Papley went down. But I'd like to see him play that small forward role next week just to see how it goes. He plays on ball in the twos and on the wing, so we'll see how that sort of progresses. And he could be a rookie price next year if he does get a couple of sub games, gets that average down, as I believe he's averaging around about that 33, 34, which probably doesn't have the most upside at the moment. Marty, Rampy, Cunningham, you'll see here, Rampy out injured, 27. He's got a calf problem that Swans don't know the extremities of it or the injury timeline yet for it. So we'll see today when he gets scans, goes back to the club for that. Tom Papley, 4 to 6 weeks with an injury, an ankle injury, so he'll be back by finals, which opens up opportunities for some Swans to play that small forward role, which is a little bit annoying given that it could ruin a couple Swans rookie baseline price for next year, that being Corey Warner potentially. Sheldrick may come back into the side, play on ball, so there's a chance there. There's also a chance of Caden Cleary, either on ball or as a small forward. Or Wicks just comes back in and they play that way. We'll see how they go with that. Or Caleb Mitchell potentially coming into the side as sub for a couple games, or just a game and ruining his average, or potentially ruining it in a bad or a good way in a sense. So that's where I sort of see the Swans at the moment. All of these guys will be back by finals, it looks like at the moment. And so yeah, it's a little bump in the road, but I don't think it's the worst thing. But that pretty much is the video there, and I will catch you guys in the next video, which will be the the Freo Melbourne game, and then you'll have the Carlton North game on the Wednesday alongside the fancy round review. So I'll see you guys in those videos in a little bit. Bye guys.